This North Korean refugee exposes the woke agenda, and she explains how that the woke agenda is exactly how the North Korean dictatorship works, which is fascinating stuff. So let's get right into it. I'd love to know what you guys think. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. I'm trying to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I know we can do it with your help. So thank you so much for all the love and support. Let's get into it.
So in Colombia, every class, before class, we have to introduce ourselves. Not about who you are, your name, or your major. It's about first thing you have to do is your pronoun.
Your pronoun.
And
What year was this?
2016.
Holy cow.
But I learned English by watching Friends. In 2014, 2 years prior, in Friends, they don't have they as a pronoun. They don't have a Z, X, Y, none of that pronouns exist. So I go to Colombia and then I name they as he, as a biological male. And in tears, how I make them feel threatened.
Huh.
And then my professors were saying, who likes to read, give me examples, and you need to be woke. And I thought my English was not good. I thought, I'm awake. I'm awake, right? Why is she saying I need to be woke? And she's like, let me give you an example of being woke. Who likes to read? Jane Austen. And I love reading, and Jane Austen, I learned so much about being a human through her book. So I raised my hand, and she said, Jane Austen was living in an era of white colonialism and white supremacy. By reading her work, you convey the message that only white men are capable of reasonable thinking. And that's how you oppress minority people. And this is
By reading Jane Austen.
Jane Austen.
You oppress people by reading Jane Austen.
And then we have a consent orientation everybody needs to take at Columbia when you begin the college. And as a rape survivor, you appreciate that they teach you how to get a consent from your sex partner. And then after these 2 long hours of lecture, they give us examples. So you and I going to Columbia together. You and I go out drink at the bar. Both of us had beer. We had consensually agreed to make love, and the next day wake up. I think it was under the influence I made a mistake. Now I can call that because I was under influence. But what about the guy? He also drank too. And I was thinking, this is an insult to rape survivors. This is not what it is. They are redefining the word oppression. They are redefining the word and racism. And they say math is racist, it's made up. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, this is what my teacher told me as younger in North Korea. She said, what's 1 + 1? And I said 2. My teacher said wrong. My dear leader, when he was a kid, discovered that if you add 1 drop of water to another drop of water, what does it become? It becomes bigger 1. It does not become 2. That's how math is made up by white men to control the minorities. Colombia, they were saying the exact same thing.
Wow. Yeah, this is the problem. So many people do the same thing with Christianity. They look at white people and be like, you see, Christianity is just used by white men to control societies, to get what they want for power. And then what I love about Cliff Connectley is what's the #1 demographic for Christianity? And they're like, white men. And he's like, no, it's actually black women. And they're completely shocked. And he's like, you know what? The #1 demographic for atheism? White men. And that's the reality. But it's just this agenda where they want you to completely be against anything, I would say, of a conservative value and movements of Christianity.
I'm amazed that already in 2016, in your freshman year, these things were being pushed so aggressively.
Yeah.
Because we know they're out there. But the idea that you have had your experience and you come to this place and they are shoving this down your throat, these ideas, very aggressively. It's amazing to me. How did you survive 4 years at Columbia?
It was last year, my senior seminar, I was studying economics and then human rights and political science. And then this is a human rights course, right? And they were telling me, they're redefining the word human rights again. Human rights means free healthcare, free education. I mean, you're so entitled to everything, so everything should be free for you. And I mean, the people who are actually fighting for human rights, it's a different thing. But she asked me, she's saying like, there's no difference between men and women. And I said like, I can never be a man. Also by then I gave a birth, I was a mother. Like I know what my body can do and my guy's body cannot do. And she said, who told you that you cannot be a man? I said, I don't know. I said, okay, somebody brainwashed you. You are brainwashed. And they would just shut me down like that. So I learned, and then they said, Colombia is a safe space. It's not about physical safety, it's emotional safety. And before the classes, professors send these trigger warning emails. Don't come to class and don't do the reading. And if it triggers you in any way, don't even tell me why. So you don't need to go to class, you don't need to do the reading. Then why on earth are you in college?
Dang. It's literally the opposite. You're literally brainwashed if you think that you can become a man if you're a woman. Because that's literally impossible. And the only way for you to think that is if you're brainwashed. Someone lied to you over and over and over until you started to believe it. It's the opposite. And that is lies from the enemy, lies from the devil.
To get that fake degree.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's our fake degree now.
It's extraordinary. It's extraordinary. I mean, it's been bad for a long time, but it's obviously gotten so bad that to hear you say these things. So that's a main reason that you wrote the new book, While Time Remains, with a foreword by Jordan Peterson, because you're convinced that similar things that you experienced in this nation, a brainwashed cult in North Korea, have come here. Mm-hmm. And you're speaking about it.
Yeah, I think the reason I write my book was living through pandemic especially. Until then, my agent was protecting me, Let's still try to reach out the liberals, They were like, I'm sure they're gonna do something about China. I met Jeff Bezos. I flew in the same private jet with Harvey Weinstein right before the Me Too. And talking to these people, they say they care about Black Lives Matter. They care about the racism and they want to end the slavery. I talk to them in person. They say, I'm sorry what you went through, but don't even tell people that you know me. They say that's how cowardly these American elites are. And then living through the pandemic, I was living in Chicago. My son, who was like 2, learning to walk even, they would put him in the mask up here 8 hours a day. They are opening a strip clubs next door. And then I go to a park, they open the dog parks. But as a child mother, I cannot take him to the playground. Actually, animals have more rights during the pandemic than my son had, my child had. And then one day I got robbed in Chicago in the middle of the day.
This is, you have to tell this story because this is unbelievable. So you were briefly living in Chicago.
For 2 years, yeah.
You have your son with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was walking the Michigan Avenue in the afternoon. During the day, some few black women come, pushing me and punching me and took my wallet away. But that's okay. I mean, anybody. The people raped me were Asians. I mean, it's not about race thing here, right? Anybody can be anything. It's not a race. They just happen to be a black woman. It's fine. But what happened was that the crowd, what people did on the street that day, I pulled my phone out trying to call the police for help. I was a young mother being punched by these people in front of my son. These people circled me, on people on the street, saying the person color don't make them a thief. You're a racist. Why are you doing this? Why are you trying to call the cop? So
why you were calling the cop on the women who did this?
Punching me and taking my wallet away.
Chicagoans came to you and said, you are a racist for making this phone call.
And then they almost a circle, so I couldn't do anything, and then they let them run away from me.
This is completely wokeism at its finest. And we've seen that. Yes, I get 100% there's racism and that it's not okay. It's not okay. But to say that certain people matter more than you, but it's all about an agenda. It's all about just saying, yeah, this is what's going on, and if you don't agree, you're evil, you're hateful, you're a bigot.
And that's when I was like, in something like the madness of crowd. It was not just Colombia gone crazy. This country collectively gone crazy now. I mean, like, even North Korea is not this is crazy. China even is not crazy.
Wow.
They're a bad, horrible regime, but common sense still there. You help out the victim, not the criminal. It's like in North Korea, like how America works right now, is people divided based on their skin color. They call my son, who is half North Korean, half American, he's half white, a privileged child because he's half white. And because your skin color, and it's like, who chooses their ancestors? Like, you cannot punish people for something they did not choose. That's why racism is bad, right? You punish for something like skin color. And now we are doing that racism against white people. And they told me that I cannot possibly understand oppression because I'm a white passing person. So that is...
A white passing person?
So now they say Asians are whites.
What?
There's no difference between Asian and whites. And I completely eliminated from that topic. So I was thinking, like in North Korea, we were divided based on what our ancestors did. Like if my great-grandfather was a capitalist and landowner, they say your blood is tainted. Your genetics is oppressive. And now they say whites, being white, you're oppressive to other people.
Wow.
And exact same tactic. And the obsession on what we can say, what we cannot say, like North Korea. In North Korea, we get executed. In America, if you say the wrong thing, you lose your job, you lose your character and dignity. Your livelihood is ruined. So of course, we're not North Korea, but we're getting there. So at some point, we need to turn back.
So she's warning us that we're headed to the direction of complete communism if we're not careful. That's the idea of the wokeism. And that's crazy. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. And the most difficult thing is obviously is our freedom of religion. We want to be able to freely choose to worship Jesus based off of our own decision. And when you don't do that, that is very scary. And if you can't do that, that's scary. And that's what we're fighting against. Really, at the end of the day.
Well, you continue to speak out, and that's why I was so thrilled to have you, to read your books, to have you as our guest here, because you give other people hope, because you will not be quiet. You continue to speak, and listen, as bad as Colombia is, as bad as downtown Chicago is, most of America is not that crazy. And there are many, many people around the world, and certainly around this country, that are grateful for voices that are speaking the truth, because they understand that a man can't become a woman, and men cannot give birth.
Right.
And they understand these things. And we're living in a time when simply declaring them is suddenly considered a brave act, which of course is ridiculous. But you do seem still to have hope, otherwise you wouldn't be talking about these things. Why do you have hope? Why do you talk about these things?
So when I was escaping from North Korea, at least it was, I had a place to escape to. America, right? I think it's harder for Americans to imagine this. Just imagine the world without America. It's a dark place. This country is a hope for humanity. It's not because I'm American saying this, as an outsider coming from that country, those countries. The world will look up to America, not because this country is just wealthy and like that. The value this country stands for, this dedication to protect individual dignity and freedom. That's very rare, because we're the smallest minority that is individual. And there are so many countries dedicated to protect just the collective, and you don't matter if you're an individual. When North Korea came out, attacked me, they said she was individualistic when she was a kid. For North Korea, that is the worst criticism you can give to somebody. That's how being individualistic is the worst thing. And this country made a constitution out of that to protect individual liberty. So, I mean, like, if we lose America, where do we go? Are we gonna escape to North Korea? Are we escaping to the moon? I mean, that's the kind of the only option right now. So, I think that's why we have to protect this country. I have no option other than fighting for it. And I'm not gonna run this time. Like when I was reading Animal Farm, until that point, I hated the dictator. I was thinking how horrible these evil guys are enslaving people, doing this to these people. But then when you read the book, it's a process. Like when I was born in North Korea, I did not even know that I was oppressed. Like, how do you fight to be free if you don't know you're a slave? And North Korea came that to a point, so when it came to me, I could not even fight because I did not even know that was an option.
Wow.
My grandmother knew though. They knew the time before Kim Il-sung. They knew the time before Communist Revolution. Because they were scared, they didn't speak out. We came that far. So while we know this is wrong, I think this is a time to push back.
Wow. I am so grateful and thankful that I get to live in a country where I get to freely choose to live for Jesus. And we got to speak out. We got to stand up for what is right and be unashamed to speak the truth in love and grace. But we can't be afraid. We can't be afraid of hurting people's feelings. Yeah, we can do it in a way that's compassionate and kind, and in a way, not doing it out of anger and spite, but we're doing it out of love. And that's something that's truly, truly important. So what amazing conversation. I'd love to know what you guys think in the comments below, whatever that may be. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I encourage you to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't. Now, let's remember, Jesus loves you.